Hello, this is Captain Jim for the Monopoly Project. We're here on Val Vista Lakes. We're here on the Monopoly Project yacht. Every successful real estate investor has a yacht, and this is the Monopoly Project yacht. We are here to do our floating book reviews. Unfortunately, it's the Bikini Girls' day off, so you just have me here on the lake today. And today we have 5 books. We've had actually quite a bit of rain here. It's December 5th. It rained a lot on Saturday. Sunday was a little. Today's Monday. And we've got so much water in the retention things that kids are riding their bicycles through it. And so I'll splice that in here now so that you can see the kids doing kid stuff, riding bicycles through puddles. Anyway, like I said, you can see now the sun's in my eyes. I'm headed west, and it is about 4 in the afternoon. So we have 5 books, just in no particular order. The Seeds of War by Alaric Bond. This is the 14th book in the series, and you already know what I'm going to say about it. I loved it, and I did love it. I think he has one more. This one's 277 pages, but it describes him, the Captain King, now off the United States, and he makes friends with a United States guy who he almost has to fight because this is just before the War of 1812. Number 2 is Churchill, A Drinking Life by Jin Sanders. Yes, his first name is Jin, and Roxanne Langer. 155 pages hardback. It's just a little book about what Churchill actually drank and his habits and such. It's actually a lot of interesting stuff, so we'll get into that. Number 3 is The Philosophy of Modern Song by Bob Dylan. It's a bunch of chapters about songs, some really well known, some I'd never heard of, that I guess were in his formative years, and you can see the sun's right in my eyes and I cannot see anything. And so he goes through them, and it's more a reflection on Dylan than it is on the songs, and he's got some it's pretty weird thoughts for Dylan, but of course he's in his 70s now, or maybe even 80s, so he's old now, so he can express non-heterodox thoughts. The other book is the Boy In Abruzzo, 273 pages by Louis Rosati. I picked that up on the airport on the way to Bakersfield last week when we were closing on our 36-unit assisted living facility, and read it on the plane. Great book. And finally, the 5th book is The Resurrected Jesus, 355 pages by David Limbaugh and Kristen Limbaugh Bloom. Kristen is Rush Limbaugh's daughter. David, of course, is his brother. They talk about the New Testament and go through some of the books and what they thought of them. So anyway, those are our 5 books for December, so we'll get right to it. Okay, it's Jim. I'm back with you on our 3rd book for November. We're going to go review this book called The Boy In Abruzzo, and it's written by Louis Rosati. And as you'll notice, I got a signed copy. I bought this in the airport bookstore in Phoenix when we were on the way to Bakersfield last week to close on our 36-unit assisted living facility that we're buying with our son-in-law, which had all closed and all worked out real well. And we're in the process of taking over and running it. And turns out this is a signed copy because Louis Rosati is actually local. He lives in Mesa. And this book is a reminiscence of a boy. The guy was, I think, 15 in the book, 15 in the novel. And Rosati explains in the afterwards that some of this is real, and he explains which parts of it were real and which parts of it he added in to make a better story. But in any case, it is my boat just died. We had a problem before where our boat died, and we had to get towed back. And the reason why I'm not super worried about it is because this time I bought insurance. I brought our Honda generator to charge the batteries if I really couldn't make it back. And it turns out I found out that when we had left for the airport a week ago or more, I'd forgotten to plug it in, so it hadn't charged, but it really shouldn't have gone down that much. But you can see we're drifting to a stop because I ran out. So let me finish this review, and then I will figure out how I'm going to get home. In any case, so the book starts out as a combination of a coming-of-age story and a travel log through the Abruzzi region of Spain, of Italy. You can see it right here in the middle right here. Rome is down here. Up here is Turin, where I spent a year in the 80s. And down here's the boot, of course, of Italy. But in any case, this guy's a 15-year-old kid. The Germans have taken over because Mussolini surrenders, or he gets kicked out. The Italians formally surrender, or get out of the war, but the Germans come down to take over because they want to stop the English army, which is coming up the coast. And so anyway, I'm trying to see if I can get restarted here. Anyway, so it starts out real nice, and it's sort of a cozy book in the sense there's not a lot of violence. They do kill two of the English officers, kill a couple of German officers, but in general there's not much violence until we get 2/3 through. So initially it's a coming of age story and set in the countryside, and they describe the countryside and the food they all eat and everything. So it's sort of like Under the Tuscan Sun, a book we recently reviewed. But then it turns sort of dark, where the Germans execute the family he's hiding out with, leaving him out because he's not part of the family. And then it turns into a hunt for a Nazi war criminal. It's a good book. I would have thought it would have been better if he had made it 2 books. The first part introducing him and telling a little more of his story after the war, after he helps what he does is he helps 2 English POWs, prisoners of war officers, escape from a German prison camp, and he helps guide them back to the English lines. And so he does that, and then it jumps forward 10 years, and they find the German guy who had the family executed, and presumably bring him to justice. But I think it would have been a better book, like I said, had he made that 2 different books. First introducing him, and they tell his story after the war, the 10 years after the war, in just a summary fashion. When he's talking to his friends, they summarize what he did. It would have been better to follow that path and then come back and do the track down the Nazi war criminal. But other than that, I mean, it is a good book. It's enjoyable. I would definitely recommend it if you're interested in history, if you're interested in Italy in that time frame. And I mean, it does come across as interesting. And the guy also has a history bent, and so there's a lot of history in there. One of the POWs, when he comes back and helps track down the guy, becomes a history professor. That's what he studied before, so it's not surprising. So in any case, that's definitely a recommendation. Maybe I even might meet the guy. Like I said, he lives in Mesa, which is next town over. And so I recommend it. So now I got to figure out why my boat died. Okay, now I'm playing around. Actually, the boat has 4 batteries for propulsion and 1 battery for all the accessories, including the motor up and down. And so I think that's the problem, is our batteries have died. But like I said, I brought our generator. I don't know if you can see it down here. As my backup insurance policy. Last time we did this, we had a good friend, or a new friend of ours, way down at the end of the lake, towed us back home. So now, unfortunately, hope I don't have to tow us. I can just plug this in, fire it up, and head back. I'm going to try that before I do our next 2 books. If not, you won't hear the next 2 books. I'll be paddling. In any case, it's Jim from the Monopoly Project, signing off.